There's a current video style that has been going crazy viral, and you've probably seen it all over your feed. We'll call it ByMaximise. Now to get more into it, this style has been going trending for the last 3 to 4 months, but the one that is doing it, you can say the best in the industry, is ByMaximise, which is why in this video I'm gonna be covering his style so that you guys can take maximum advantage of it.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them and the more you can hear their personality.
So, step number 1, asset collection. Now you see, one of the most special things about this style is that he's able to combine the best assets and the best quotes from many different places. But quite frankly, we don't have that much time. So we're gonna cheat code through it. However, I'm gonna break down quickly the foundation of how they find these perfect clips. And by the way, before we get into the video, this video is completely out of my new community editors league, and it's not gonna be on YouTube forever because I want to keep it for them. And honestly, one of the longest and the most valuable videos I've ever done. So I hope you take the time and effort to watch this video as well as share to everyone you know. And I have all the assets, everything in the description below. So with that being said, I think we're ready to dive into our piece. Now, for instance, for example, we have this clip. You can see there's many different clips of Lil Yachty, some movie clips, and honestly, just random shit. But for example, let's say this edit. Look, this guy said forever. Now, we can use a couple of websites. First website we have is clip.cafe. So once you enter this website, let's say you search for the exact phrase of the year. Over here, you can get some similar transcripts, as well as you can search for your best kind of movie scenes. This is what's good about it. But we have another one that I prefer even more, which is called playphrase.me. So if you go on this website, it literally already opens like the movie clip, right? Through, I don't know what this is. But let's say I search up of the year. Let's see what we find.
Looking at that eyesore for the rest of the year.
Already celebrating the longest day of the year.
My studying schedule out to the end of the year, dividing my time equally among all the courses.
Just gonna go cast my Father of the Year ballot.
And now you see, after 5 phrases, we got this limit. It's not that hard. All he did was literally go to playphrase.me and search up for that phrase or a certain phrase, and he got it. Obviously using his own creativity. The video that we are going for is something what we have over here, which is less is more, less is more. And we have this animation that we're gonna cover. And then most importantly, this guy speaking. And he says a couple of phrases and stuff. So immediately I know that this guy is a movie producer. Obviously there is an ideation process. His name is Rick Rubin. I'll search up Rick Rubin podcasts, and now once I have Rick Rubin podcast search up, what I'm gonna do is just like a part of it, I'll just write less is more. Now that I write less is more, you can see we get the exact same podcast. Now we get the exact same podcast. Obviously this is edited. Let's go here. This clip is from an interview with Lex Friedman. So I'm gonna open Rick Rubin x Lex Friedman, and over here I have the original podcast. So what I'm gonna do is literally go on my transcript and search up for the similar phrases, and I'll be back. Okay, by the way, I found the exact part after a few minutes of scrolling, because I did go over here and I found that beautiful simplicity in music really like resonates with what he says. So you can see, if I play this clip right now, see what we hear.
Which is the less elements you have, you can hear each of the ones that are there and they can sound better. And the less there are, the more space they could have around them and the more you can hear their personality. If you were to record...
Perfect, that was it. Now what we need to do is immediately download this. Instead of downloading it, I'm gonna make the process very simple. I'm gonna switch this to theater mode, and I'm just gonna screen record this certain clip. Now I have done the screen recording, and we'll literally dive right into Premiere Pro. Now what we need to do is have like a process of video ideation. Now we don't need to go through that process because we're in a bit of a hurry right now. Otherwise I would have created it with a complete ideation. By the way, big props to ByMaximise for the edit and the edit inspiration that we're going for. I'll make sure whatever I use, whoever I take inspiration from, will be in the link below so that they don't miss out on their credits and people know them. But anyways, here's just a quick re-preview of the video that we have, just so you can remember what we're going for.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them and the more you can hear their personality.
Now remember the video I screen recorded? I did do it through NVIDIA recordings. So I have the clip over here. I'm just gonna import this into my sequence. Now obviously our sequence should be 1080 by 1920 and we're gonna aim for 24 FPS. So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna have mobile resolution. I'm gonna just cut this. Let me cut this onto his face. Make sure that he is like in the middle and he's well center aligned. So now we're gonna do like a very quick trimming process and a cut kinda, and we're gonna get into After Effects very shortly. So let me do that A cut quickly with you guys. We just need this quickly, like start from here. I'm gonna press Q on my keyboard, so it's gonna cut. Let me know if you guys want me to actually break down more on Premiere Pro and stuff like that. But initially what I did with Q is very simple. You go onto your blade tool over here, and then you can have them linked and cut this by doing delete and then this. So what we do is we save a lot of time by setting up shortcuts. That is covered in Editor's League, by the way. So if I just press Q, it's gonna, all the process is gonna be done with one click. Anyways, let's get into it.
You have sonic benefit, which is the less there are, the you can hear each of the ones that are there, and they can sound better. And the less there are, the more you can hear the personality. The less there are, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear the personality. The more you can hear the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear the personality. If you were to record,
you can see over here the sentence ends, so I'm just gonna cut it. So let me just play it real quick. Perfect, we have this quote that we want to use, and before it, what we want to do is we want to get multiple clips saying less is more, less is more, less is more. Now as I went over this a couple of times, I did say that we can do it using playphrase.me and etc, but I'm not gonna go through that process. And what I'm gonna do is there is another YouTube creator that has done an edit like this, which was actually combined with ByMaximise on his YouTube channel. I'm gonna link his YouTube channel and his Instagram. Again, big props to him. I'm just gonna cut out the clips from there and import it on here. So you can see if I play this clip,
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man. Less is more, man.
so we have this. What we want to do is literally just drag this, and I'm gonna take all of this before it. So if I literally just play the edit right now, you can see we have kind of a weird cut happening, but don't worry about that. But yeah, now what we want to do is we just want to reposition everything to be in the middle, and then we're gonna like dive right into After Effects, because that is where all the things are gonna happen except for the captions. So that we're gonna get into in the very end. So I just repositioned this guy to be in the middle, by the way. Actually, we'll do that in After Effects, don't worry. Perfect. Now immediately what I'm gonna do is right click on all of this and do replace with After Effects composition, and you can see immediately we have everything imported over here automatically. So I'm just gonna play the audio, and immediately what I'm gonna do here, just to keep everything organized, is I'm gonna pre-compose all of this by doing Control-Shift-C. So I'm gonna name it less is more. Okay, now my idea is to basically have this scene and then cut it into like a TV clip. By the way, something that is very major I do for every edit is I do this basically undock panel and I take it to the right side. So what we have is we have like the TikTok resolution over here, so we can like preview it in full, and then everything else is just better for our workflow on the left side. Now immediately my idea is once this cut happens, right, that I took from Skymography, we have like a TV scene. So I'm gonna open up Pinterest and I'll just write old TV overlay. Let's see if we find anything. Amazing, you can see this is a very good start. I like this, I like what we have over here. Pinterest is the best place for these type of assets, man, it's crazy. So we have a lot of good results on Pinterest, and I'll suggest you guys definitely go for Pinterest. Don't overcomplicate it. But me, because I want to go next level, what I'm doing is I'm going to be using this image which I generated using Midjourney, and this is going to be in the description below, so don't worry about it. You can just reuse this in case you want to just follow and learn my style. And I'm going to download this. I didn't go too much over prompting and stuff because I went over that in my last video. Anyways, we have this. Now I think we're ready to import it into After Effects. So let's make the clip, let's let the clip start like this. What I'm gonna do over here, this is a bit of an unnecessary step, like we did not have to pre-compose, but I just did it for the sake of it. I'm gonna go inside my pre-composition and just extract the layer outside. So we have this layer, I'm gonna do Control X and literally paste it, and it's gonna go in the exact same position. You can see, perfect. Now, because I have this original layer, I can like adjust it however I want. And on this part, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom it out. I'll bring this up. Let's see if we can fit this properly. Now you can see what I did is using Midjourney, I switched this into mobile resolution because that was not mobile resolution. And I think I'll just go with this one and import it back into Premiere Pro, into After Effects, sorry. Now I'm gonna zoom this in and I'm gonna make this full quality. Now what we're gonna do is the most creative part, okay? If I do this, I take my video up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to put it on one of the screens. So I can like zoom this out and I can create a mask over here, like an exact mask. So let me just go over here on my pen tool and literally just cut this out as accurately as possible, because this is very important. So I'll do it like exactly with the screen, right? Not with the borders, with the screen. Boom. And this is what I have for now. And if I basically what I do, if I do it subtract and I take my layer below, you can see now it is fitting exactly on there by just turning it on. And I'll like just try to zoom out as much as possible just to make it look good. What I'll do is I'll even rotate it a bit. So see what happens now. And then right after it, we want over here to pop up. So I'm gonna go inside my pre-composition again, and I have this cut. I'll do Control X and then paste it. It's gonna be exactly like how we want it. And then now what we want to do is do the mask for this one as well, this one. So we'll have it go like this, and then here, that one. By the way, I'm using my hand tool to move around. Now I will create another mask. So let me just zoom in and do it properly, exactly on the borders. Boom. This is pretty straight, that's good. I feel like this will turn out extremely well. By the way, at this point of time when I'm shooting this video, I have no idea about the output. So it's purely like I'm doing it with you guys, and I do this on purpose because I want it to be as authentic as possible, you know? I'm not here for unauthentic shit. Nice, this is good. Now I'll do subtract. You can see we have the video in the back, and what I'll do is I'll just put it on focus mode just so we can have it how we want it. And it was estimatedly over here. We have to make sure that it is only on the second screen, not on the first screen. I'm gonna zoom out as much as possible because that is what we need. And now I'll pretty much, if we see, less is more. Now I'll do the exact same process again. So I'll be back once the process is done, because as of now you guys should know what I'm doing. So now guys, if I will just play it for you guys real quick, see. Nice. And this is honestly very smooth. I think what we can do is use like kind of camera movement to not make this look too empty. So we have this basically scene created, and I just cut the extension that we did not need. So this is what we have until now. Obviously this is a bit weird, but now is where all of it looks way more interesting, and that is what I want to work on, and I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I will make everything 3D, alright? And after I do that, before I do the camera, I will link all of these videos to my image. So now if I zoom in my image, you can see it's not too bad quality, and it is pretty decent. So by doing this, now I will introduce camera, and once I do, I'll be able to pan. Instead of zooming in too much and stuff and rolling the quality, I'll be able to pan in better. So you can see this way I'm able to pan, and the quality is pretty decent, actually, very solid quality. So I'm gonna make a very sharp zoom out. So once he says less is more, it's gonna like zoom out to this point, till this much. And let me graph this up and just do this graph. That's gonna be very harsh. So nice, you can see this is a very sharp graph. Now to Gordon Ramsay, what I'm gonna do is introduce a null by right clicking, doing this and pressing null object, and then linking, and then creating the 3D. I'll do position, and let's say to this point, I'll have it zoom down to him, as well as do this. So this is just camera movement, guys, don't worry too much. And I'm gonna do this graph, extend this a bit as well so you can see. I'm gonna have this sharper, so it's gonna, now before the less is more other starts, you know the null creation process, so it's the same thing. Click over here, make a null, link the null, and make this 3D. So now we have another null. And why am I doing nodes is because I can overlap keyframes, whereas if I do it on the camera itself, there's no overlapping. So it's gonna go from here, you can say till here, and we'll zoom it in even more, just so we have like something a bit more subtle. And I'll do the same graph, just over here, the same graph that I did. So let's see. We need to make sure that this starts like panning before he even starts it. So nice. Again, we'll do the same thing. I created the null. I did not have to show it because you guys might know it until now. And yep, let's make sure it's like here, this much. So let's play what we have. Let me put the audio on so you guys can hear.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
And I'm thinking of basically making it perhaps like go out till this much or till outside, so we have all 4 screens. Now what we will do is, you can see in these frames it's like cutting out. So what we want to do is do an effect called freeze on last frame, and I'll do it for all of them. Freeze on last frame. Let me select both of these and do freeze on last frame. So these will stay instead of cutting out. You can see over here one of them cut out, which you want to make sure doesn't happen. So once I did freeze frame on all of them, see, this is what we have now.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more.
Now what I want to do is a seamless kind of text that will say less is more. And let me just write it. Less is more. All right. And you can see over here we have these text properties. I'm just going to increase the text size. You can see the text is very similar, so we'll just keep it the same. It's fine. I mean, if you guys know the exact text, then use it. To be honest, I don't. And I'm gonna go to mode and do exclusion. So what happens is that we have the exclusion effect. This is what most of these creators use. And I'll have it say, like, I'll have this like this, and I'll do a double space between them, and I'll have both of these thinner, so medium, and it's gonna say less is more. And I wanna try something, but let's see if it goes well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hide the audio of the next upcoming thing, which is the old guy, Rick Rubin. And I want to do like kind of a text that says less is more, just right after it zooms out, and we have like this subtle scene over here, right? Just after it zoomed out. At 3D, actually let me remove 3D, and I'm gonna basically explode the text by separating each one of them. You can do that manually, but I do have an effect called text exploder, so I'm just gonna use this. Go to character words, delete original. I'll take both of these, revert them, make them medium, and I'll do a very good effect right now. And now this version I'm gonna make link to a null, and all of them I'll make 3D. So through this null I can move it, and now I will just remove the null. So while this is coming out, alright, while it is coming out like this, let me just make the quality half because it's overcomplicated right now. I'm gonna make the quality half, and the less text is already gonna be there. I'm gonna like adjust is more, and then I will add the null on the less text only and link both of these to the null as well. So less, give it like a few seconds, and then is more is gonna pop up. So less is more, so is, and then after 1 2 3 4 seconds is, so like this, is more. You get me? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a seamless kind of movement. So at this point it's gonna be here in the middle, and when this comes up it's gonna go here. Oops, sorry, I was supposed to do that with the null. So it's gonna be in the middle using the null, and then when is text comes it's gonna be like this, less, so less is, and then when more comes up at this point it's gonna go like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click and make all of them toggle hold, so it's not gonna like be keyframed, it's just gonna be hold. Less is more, like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this one normal, make this one medium, and the more is gonna be italic and like this. So look, less is more, like this, and then give it like 3 frames, 1 2, and I'm gonna make a cut, and I'll flip this. I'll make this italic and bold, and I'll switch this back to normal after making a cut. By the way, we can do this with source text as well, so that's gonna be more efficient. So if I take my text and I write source text, and at this point I do this, and for this I do it the opposite, source text. So you can see through the source text this is gonna happen. Obviously we need to give it a bit of a margin. Less is more. And then after one frame, what I'm gonna do right now, let me just take all of this up so it doesn't get confusing, right? 1, 2, let me do Control D and I'll take this down. And at this point, what's gonna happen is the source text is gonna flip. So let me open up the source text. I'll take the less back to its normal position and even the first less back to its normal position. I'll show you what I'm trying to do. And I will keyframe source text for this. Keyframe source text keyframe, and just see what I'm trying to do now. So once this goes down, the is text is basically gonna have italic and bold. Now give it two more frames. 1, 2. Now see what happens. I will 1, 2. I will now remove from the is text. So let me select both of the is and do this, and then make the more text have both of these, as well as I will duplicate this and take it down. So now see what happens. See, less is second it goes less. After it, when it comes to is, I'll bring up all three of this. Forgot to do that. I'll do alt left bracket. So this is what's gonna happen. At this point, I'll bring all three of this. So let me just show you a quick preview. Basically, we made like a cycle of a way this comes up, and this is inspired by skymography again. So less is more. Now let's count 2 frames. 1, 2. I'll duplicate all of this, take this down. Now all of the mores, so let's take all of the mores, including the first one, and remove this from it, and let's take all of the less and add this. So now see what happens. Less is obviously at this point, the new less ones is gonna pop. So I hope this is not getting too complicated. See what happened. And now I'll flip the cycle, right? Less is more. Boom, 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 boom. Now let's count 1, 2, and we'll basically flip the cycle back again. So I'll take all of the is text, make all of these bold, and take all of the less text and unbold all of these. And at this point, the first line, which is less 1, 2, and 3, will cut out. Now count 2 frames again. 1, 2. Now let me select all of the is, which is these 3 is, remove, take all of the more, add, and I will cut the second less is more. Now give it 1, 2. We're just gonna keep doing this. And now at this point, we wanna do the complete opposite of what we did last time. If you remember here, we did this effect. 1, 2, 3, 4. We give it 4 frames, right? So I'll give it 4 frames now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take this in the middle and cut out more. The 1, 2, 3, 4. Take this in the middle and cut out is. So now see what happens. We have this complete animation done. And at this point, I think I might remove this part, by the way. But anyways, let's get to the animation of the second part. At this point, I will literally just do like a sort of a mash cut, you can say, and I'll make like a cut of the whole scene and everything. So I'll pre-compose all of this and do a cut here. So this is how our scene looks like. Let me just give you guys the audio so you can hear.
It's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less more. Less is more, man.
Now we're gonna do the brain part, guys. This is what we're gonna do, this animation, basically. So yeah, let's just do it. It's very simple. It's like a 10-minute task. So I opened up Pinterest and I just searched up brain illustration to find, perhaps you can say, similar results. And honestly, I like this. And I like it as much as I like theirs. So I'm gonna be taking this brain illustration. Fortunately, it was already in PNG. So this is what we have. And what I'll do is I'll just create a solid background, which will be in this color. And you can see over here, we wanna do like type of a mash cut, you can say. So I will have it in a very starting way come up. I'll do this 10 frames later, bring it back here. And now I'm just gonna do a very sharp graph, which is gonna be this graph. Boom, boom, boom. And it's gonna be very subtle, like very movement, almost unnoticeable. I'm gonna do a cut. So see, you see what happened there? Let me just extend this out a bit more, and then it's very slow. And now I will like link a null to it. You guys already know how to link a null by now. And I'll make it like come up. And with this, it's gonna have the exact same graph, which is the very sharp graph. Now, Because we're doing that kind of a mesh cut, it's not really possible to have it, but just give it a bit more time. Give it a bit more time. Okay, we want to make sure that the audio is synced exactly to what's... Now we just want to sync. So I'm gonna play this. So if you listen to what he says over here, listen to it.
The less elements you have.
We want it to basically say the less elements you have. It's gonna be a very simple text, so I'm just gonna write the. Let me take this normal, make it, you can say bold, make the first letter like this, make it extra bold. I'm gonna write less. Let's structure this to be proper position. So this is gonna be way bigger. It's gonna be like this. I'm gonna do Control R to bring up the scale and scale it exactly using this. Boom. The less, and then here is gonna be elements. It's gonna be sized a bit bigger. You have. Gonna do this. You remember the text exploder we used? I'm just gonna explode using it. Explode. So you have is now separate. So you is gonna be like this and smaller. This one is gonna be the exact same and even smaller, like 60. And this is what we have. So at this point, less goes out, the goes out, element comes in. I'm just doing it randomly, by the way. U comes in and have comes in. So it's gonna be like this.
Elements you have, the more
You can see it's synced.
you have, the more element.
I will have this delayed a bit to come up like this.
The less elements you have, the less
Before he says elements, then this will go out, both of these.
elements you have.
So you can see this is how we're gonna time it basically.
The less elements you, the less elements
Here he says elements.
you have, the less elements you have, the more.
Yep. Now what I'm gonna do is animate this. So first thing, let's do a simple animation for the. I'm gonna do everything in like 10 frames. So 10 frames jump, boom, make this come. F9, extremely sharp graph. This one,
The less element.
do the exact same with the less text. Jump 10 frames, go here and do the very sharp same graph.
Less elements you have, elements you have.
You can see we have a gap over here, so I'm just gonna cut this. By the way, this is all gonna be done in Premiere Pro, the sound design especially, but I'm just doing this to, like, you can say kinda adjust the syncing.
Elements you have.
Elements. For elements, just a simple position from the left this way, do the sharp graph, exact same sharp graph,
Elements you have.
and then he's gonna say you at this point, exact same graph, jump 10. I'm gonna link have to you, and then I'm gonna do like something same like this and make this the same graph. So this is what we have.
The less elements you have, the more space.
You can see very smooth, and how we're gonna fade those out is very simple as well. So I'm gonna add Gaussian blur. You can see this is what's gonna happen with Gaussian blur, or I'm gonna do it with text evo, which is gonna be, you can say, somewhat better. So let me just add text evo and this 50, and I will flip the strength so that this flipped, and I'll make sure this is complete word. So see how it goes down now, very smooth and very good. And this is gonna be the same for all of them. So let me just copy the text evo settings here, copy, and literally paste. Gonna paste this for all of them, by the way. So let me play this, check it out.
The less elements you have, the more space they.
Nice. This is a very good start to the text animation. As I told you guys, it's very simple. And lastly, before I add the brain radiations and stuff, I think let's just get mastered with the whole edit. Now I'll just zoom out my brain to, you can say, 50% and do this graph. Just follow the graph that I do. Boom.
Elements you have,
It's gonna zoom out, you can say, at this point.
you have. The less elements you have, the more elements you have, the more space.
And then over here, we're just gonna do a cut. Now, what I will do is I'll just bring up this preview.
Sonic benefit have, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their personality. If you were to
Okay, and I'll make the cut over here. Now if I open Premiere Pro back again, and now if I open Premiere Pro, you can see the edit should be here automatically. By the way, don't worry, I just did some tweaking over here which will not make any difference. It's just because there is a bug. You can see over here, the audio will obviously not be imported from After Effects. So all the audio shit we did in After Effects does not matter. So we have to see where the text basically starts. The audio starts exactly when the word "the" comes. So I'm gonna open Premiere Pro, and just drag this audio to start over here. See, there's a bit of, we need like a bit of more extension. So I'll make this like, you can say 13 seconds. I'll extend this, and then in After Effects, in Premiere Pro, I can just adjust it. Yep, got it. Now we have like a rough idea of what we have. If we can just hear the audio. So this is what happens. Now basically we are done with the animation. We have a couple of more things left. So the first thing we need to do is add the captions onto the ending part, and then after it we have the final tweaks, and after the final tweaks we have sound effects. So let's move right into captions. It won't take long at all. So now we have Premiere Pro open, right? Already. It is already open, and pretty much what we want to do is add the captions the way we want it. So we want the caption to start here, the more space. So if I go to text over here, you can see the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear the personality. So what I'll do is I'll create captions, and I'll pretty much take this all the way 0 and this as well, and make sure it is single. And now it's creating the captions, and now I'll just remove everything we haven't before it because we don't need those. And I'll take this, I'll go to edit, I'll place this in the middle, and I'll change the text to Inter bold. I'll increase the size. Want to make sure this is down, and we want to make sure there is no shadow, as well as just okay. So this is the text that we have. Amazing, that's good. Now we want to do something, which is upgrade this caption to graphic, and once we do that, we can literally replace this with After Effects as well. And once I do that, you can see what happened over here. I can just copy and paste this over here, and so all the text is in After Effects now. And why did I do this? Because we wanna do something. First things, let's ensure the size of the personality is same. Now I'll take the sizes of all of these, add a null, just decrease them. We will take this down. Now I will pre-compose all of this, and once I do, I will add deep glow, make it required for text, make this 0.4 and increase the threshold to like 400, and then add like a very slight drop shadow, make the opacity 20%. So you can see there's a major difference. Let me go into personality and just make it smaller. Person, we want to see where he says personality because we want to like separate the text kinda. Ality. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is add an effect called text exploder, delete original, there per, so let's give it 1 2 3 4 5 6 per 1 2 3 4 sun 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it's gonna be per. Before I do anything, we want to make sure that the paragraph is set to be like this, and then I can center align. Now what I will do is just see what happens. Per personality. Nice. And what I can do as well is take this and literally like make it exclusion, so this happens, the effect that we want. I'll do this with, like, he did not exactly do this, but we're just doing this because why not. And let me make this exclusion as well. Over here we'll do like a rough zoom in, you can say from this point, like boom. So if I go over back in Premiere Pro and I play it, perfect. Perfect. This is a very solid video.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they can have around them, and the more you can hear their personality.
Perfect, guys. That is very good. Now that we are done with the captions, we have basically what you call the final tweaks remaining. So let's add the final tweaks, and then after that we'll add sound effects to live everything. So let me go to the final tweaks. So just a funny story, mid-recording, I realized this when I'm editing, but when it came to the final tweaks, I accidentally forgot to return my cam. So you can see over here, for complete 10 minutes, I'm literally with full cam on and I'm explaining. And then over here, I realize and see my face. I got pissed. But anyways, we'll dive right into final tweaks right now, mid editing. You guys need to get the sauce. So the first thing that I did in this was when I went over here onto the starting scene, I went inside the pre-composition and I added an effect called unichromatic aberration, as well as a mask. So you can see if I do no mask, then this is how it looks. So I did a mask, which is very simple. Pretty much, let's say you want to make a mask, you're gonna do like this, boom, and you're gonna like just keep it going, boom, boom, whatever. This is just a quick version because we don't want to waste too much time just explaining a single thing. But yeah, you'll figure it out. You just want to mask this guy and make sure it is on add. And then I add an effect called unichromatic aberration. Over here, you could potentially even add other RGB effects. Honestly, I'm not too familiar with too many RGB effects as it's not my main. But if you do have like a Sapphire plugin, you can do an effect called chromatic aberration, or you can just write up RGB and see what comes up. So in my situation, I used unichromatic aberration. If I turn this on, you can see this is what's created, and it's not necessary at all. The adjustment layer on top, clearly it's added by mistake. Then we have this VHS lines. So if I double tap on this so you can view it, it's pretty much like these kind of lines, and this will obviously be in the description below, so don't worry about this. Now let me exit. What I did on this scene was just add post-rise time, nothing much. And then on less is more text, you can see over here, I added deep glow on each text with these exact deep glow settings. And I added post-rise time on the whole thing, as I already covered that. As well as I just moved all of this text a bit lower, if you realize from before. So that is a very minor change as well. And then over here, I added deep glow along with post-rise time. So it creates this kind of laggy effect. If I were to play it, you guys can check right now. Let's play it. You can see there is this laggy effect, as well as what I did is you can see on the brains, I added lines. And to add lines, it's very simple. If I go inside, you'll see the lines are here, and it's very simple. So let me just cover one of it real quick. Let's say you want to create a line here. So I will do this and do this. Once I do that, make sure your stroke is on 5, and then you pretty much want to go into shape 1. I'll just make this white so it's more visible, and then I'll remove the RGB. And I'll click here just so we can see the shape layer. So once I did this, I went into stroke and I went into taper, and I pretty much did this. So it created this kind of a sharp effect, as well as after I did that, I added an effect called trim path. So once I add trim path, you can see as I added, just click here, add, and go to trim path. Once I do that, you can pretty much keyframe the end. So I keyframe the end from here till here. So it goes from 0 like this, and then to make it go back, but the opposite way is you keyframe the start to like this. So you can see the movement. This is how it will be. And then obviously I just pressed F9 on my keyboard and I did the same graph for both of them, which is like this. So let's have a preview. Nice. What you can do is, because you can see there is a bit of a pause here, you can make the start come up earlier, and it's gonna be like overlapping. See, if I just extend this one, it's gonna happen both at the same time. I can drag this even more close so like it's happening simultaneously. So yeah, this was the shape effect, and then I added it inside the pre-comp. And I added an effect called film grain. If I double tap here, you'll see this is the film grain effect. It's like these white dots, so don't worry too much about that. It's gonna be in the description below, as I promised. And then we have our fill, and yeah, along with that, you can see the shaky effect that's happening on our brain. This is one of the most things that I spent time explaining, but unfortunately it went away. So if I just click on my brain, you can see we have like the shaky brain effect. And how to do that? Very simple, guys. You can see there is this expression post-rise time and wiggle. So if I were just to do this from scratch again, let me just show you. So you're gonna hold Alt on your keyboard and you're gonna press on the clock on position, for example. So the first thing you want to write is post-rise time, boom, and then you're gonna write your number and you just put a semicolon in the end. Once you do that, you go down and you will add a wiggle effect. So if I write wiggle, and then the settings that I put was 150 or 200, yeah, I did 150 by 4. Oops, I did 1500. So just follow this. This is basically the amplitude and that is the frequency. So you can see the shake effect is happening. And I did this exact same process for rotation. Just hold Alt on your clock and copy and paste. So that was for the brain shake effect, which is very simple, nothing much. And I added deep glow on all the text, which was already on the adjustment layer. Like I did not add them on the text one by one. And then over here, pretty much I don't think I did anything from this side. Yeah, these were the final tweaks, you can say, very minor. And yeah, I hope this was understandable. If there is anything else, you can just comment it down and I'll make sure I reply on time, or anyone from my team. So with that being said, let's dive in right into sound effects, which is back to the original scene. So now the first thing we want to add is music to our sound design. So let's get right into that by diving into artlist.io. Here I have artlist, and actually I'm just gonna go over music that I have downloaded from before rather than going over new music. So I have this song called Too Close to the Sun. So I'm just gonna add this. And by the way, I added a denoise effect in order to remove the music from the previous clip that we had. But anyways, let's play it and try to sync it with the animation. Let me extend all of this out.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more, man.
You can see we can do some very good improvements on that.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more, man.
So I'm gonna try to sync the beat here and let's see if this looks better.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more, man.
Let's see if we can do this and if it looks smooth. Just doing some few tweaks.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more.
You can see what I'm doing here is I synced two different beats from the music in order to like create this constant intense effect. So see,
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more, man.
and I'm gonna add constant power here as well. We just want to make sure these don't overlap. The only thing is it ends too soon, so the music like it's just cutting off too early, and we really can't make music fit within 7 seconds. You get me? But yeah, basically let's imagine if the video kept going, it would be amazing. So just listen to this, guys. Just listen to this.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they can have around them, and the more you can hear their personality.
That is amazing. And if I just mute the ongoing audio and I play it normally, listen to this. This is only music. And see over here as well, when he says, you can see how it's very synced. This is just the creativity behind it. I just made the music work somehow. I swear to God, this just worked, and I did it in lesser than 3 minutes. I swear to God. And I'm already so impressed. I shocked myself with this one. But see how good it is, guys. Like we need to hear this again. Perfect, that's amazing. Now we just need to add sound effects.
Again, it's like less is.
Before I do that, let's add like a slow opacity, and let's add some effects on the music itself. So I have like this effect called simple parametric equalizer. So just copy the settings that I have here. I'm gonna paste it onto this one as well.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is
This did decrease the audio by a lot, so let's make this minus 10.
more. Less is more, man.
The less
Man.
Let's make sure this is fading out properly. And I'm gonna make this minus 6. Actually, minus 18 is too less. Minus 6.
the less elements you have,
And at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like keyframe the boost, right? From minus 6 to say minus 14. So that the frequency is way lesser, so that this person is more audible. And I'll make him louder as well. So I'll make him I'll make the gain increase by 5.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their personality.
Perfect. Now that is all for the music. We just want to add simple sound effects.
Again, it's like less is more. Again, it's like
So we have this amazing soundtrack from
This is a very
the king himself, Skymography. And I'm just gonna press on show all. You can see we can use this glitchy counter for the very starting scene like this. And I'm gonna make it start like with, you know, a bit of like sync it with the audio.
again, it's like again, it's
So over here I'm gonna add a marker and I'm gonna sync it like this.
again, it's like less is more.
And let's make this -5 and I'm gonna add reverb on it. Reverb and make this like studio reverb or surround reverb maybe.
Again, it's
No, surround reverb, no, that's the wrong one.
again, it's like less is more.
Less is
Again, it's like less is more. Again, it's like less is more.
less is more.
Like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
I did a mistake, I think.
The less
Nice, okay.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
And over here for the less effect, text effect, we want to add like effect, you know. So this, if I go, I think down, you might find it. So I downloaded these little clicks and I downloaded this little kind of no signal as well. So I'll add the no signal probably at this part.
Again, it's like less
-10. Let's decrease this to -10 more.
less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
Now I have the small mechanical clicks as well. So what I'm gonna do is actually sync this exactly. So it's gonna be on less is. So the first one is gonna come on the letter is more. So just move this. Let me remove the magnet so I can make it more accurate. Actually, yeah, it is. And then over here we're gonna do the exact same syncing. Boom. Let me take this. There's a bit of, you can say, incompleteness. It's not completing, which is not what we initially wanted. Yeah, just one more frame. It's just gonna be the second one, or the first one, sorry. It's gonna be here. So let's play it now.
the
Amazing, that's amazing.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
Let's decrease this to, or I'll just add reverb on it. This is gonna be studio reverb, and studio reverb on this one as well.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
the less
Man.
the less
Man.
On this part we want like a kind of a swoosh, so I'm gonna just take this low subby swoosh, whatever, come over here, we add the marker to it exactly in the middle.
the less
Another swoosh is what we need. All of this whole track will be in the description below, so anything you need you'll just find it there. I think I'm blocking the view, by the way, so I just put my thing over here, that should be fine. So this should be in the middle. I'm just gonna add on another layer. I'm gonna add studio reverb on this, decrease the audio by -8.
the less elements you have, the more space. The less elements you have, the more elements you have.
Over here we want to add like a deep boom cinematic. So if I write cinematic boom, have like 1 just right before it. I'll make this -10.
The more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their person.
One last sound effect. So this is the kind of drum I'm gonna add, if you can hear. Yep, let me just download this. And let me add this. This is gonna be, you can say, the last sound effect. This is actually by far one of my longest videos because it's a long session. And I'm gonna decrease this to -10 again. Now let's play the complete video.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their person. You can hear their personality.
Yep, that is it for the video, guys. This is basically the final preview that we have, so let's view it again one last time. Let me remove my cam from the way and let's view it.
Again, it's like less is more.
Let me just remove the scale because it's annoying being in the middle. Let's play it.
Again, it's like less is more.
Less is more.
Less is more. Less is more, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their personality.
Perfect, guys. You can see over here there's a little bug that is a very minor one mistake. 2 minutes fix. If I go into After Effects, come over here to zoom in, see why it's happening. It's just this, extend it a bit more, and yeah, that's it. Extend it a bit more, and now if I play it, you can see it's gonna stay there. It's just fine. Yep.
More, man.
The less elements you have, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their personality.
So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Honestly, one of my longest videos, and I really hope you took the time and effort to even accomplish everything that I did in this video. I know it was a bit overwhelming and it was fast, especially if you're a beginner, and it would be very, very hard for you to follow. But yeah, I really do hope that this video is something special. This is coming out of my editor's leak, especially for YouTube, August 29th, and my uploading date planned is to be September 15th, 14th, and then my launch is gonna be 3-4 days after it. So yeah, this is a special video coming out from my course directly, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there were some ups and downs. I will link everything you guys need, but yeah, this is one of my longest videos so far, and as well as I'd say I went even more creative than Maximise himself. But anyways, to be truthful with you, it's literally 2:18 right now, and you can say it's past my bedtime. Literally, I've woken up at 7 a.m. today. But yeah, with that being said, I'm really glad with how this video turned out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.